Hi, I'm William Buhidar here with Michael Gersten, one of our faculty members in the music department. We are going to be talking about a very special event coming up Saturday, March 25th at the Cooper Center. Hope, Hate, and Healing, Exploring the Holocaust Through Music. Michael, tell us a little bit about this and help us understand what this event is about, please.
So this event has a few different purposes. One is just to educate the public about the Holocaust. You know, this horrible event that happened in the 20th century, which resulted in, about 6 million Jewish people being killed and millions of others being killed by Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany. And so the main focus of this is to educate about the Holocaust and the events surrounding it. But it's to do it in a way that's somewhat entertaining and engaging. With live music, with a movie, with original artwork that's being presented. And so when the audience goes, we don't want the audience to feel like they're at a lecture where they're there to learn. Hopefully they go and they feel really engaged, and then afterwards they think, I really learned something with this.
How did you come up with this concept about connecting klezmer music, which you'll talk about in just a moment, and this very, very special subject and very delicate subject as well? How did this come about?
Well, we know in music, right, that music can express things that words can't. And I really wanted people to feel an emotional connection to the Holocaust and what was going on. For me, it's personal. My grandparents, my dad's parents are Holocaust survivors. But for a lot of people, you don't have that personal connection. But we know, if you've seen a movie, that music has the ability to just really touch your heart. And so it made sense, I think, to have music be the thing that helps the audience connect with this subject.
Tell us about klezmer music, because we're talking specific genre of music that you're using for this production. Tell us about what klezmer music is, for those that might not be familiar.
Right, I'm sure not a lot of people have heard of klezmer music. But when you hear it, it sounds very familiar. Klezmer music is a Jewish folk music native to Eastern Europe, especially Russia, Ukraine, Poland, that area. You heard it, weddings, Jewish weddings is an essential part of Jewish weddings, other festivities, really soulful, emotional music. It was used to either whip people into a frenzy at dancing at weddings or during a wedding ceremony. It was used to bring everyone there to tears. And so it's one, appropriate because that's what the victims of the Holocaust were listening to as they were growing up. And then it's also appropriate because of how emotional this music is. It pairs perfectly with the subject.
Okay, you're engaging the audience with this music, with the visual and the oral, so to speak,
Absolutely.
to really present this message. You mentioned that there's artwork with this as well. We know that Tom Matthews from our art department is collaborating with you. Can you share a little bit about what they might see or experience from his part?
I haven't seen them yet.
Okay, all right.
Part of me doesn't want to see them until they're actually up,
Okay.
to get the full effect. But I know he's doing these charcoal, I don't even know what the correct term is, etchings, I think, on these banners that are going to hang basically floor to ceiling in the Cooper Center, our Performing Arts Center here. And so it should be pretty dramatic to look at. And the charcoal, it doesn't really create clean lines. It creates this kind of ghost-like image. And so I think the images that Tom's making are going to be haunting, and remarkable to look at. In fact, I recommend that if anyone, if you're going to be coming to the performance, get there a little early so you have time to really take in this artwork.
Part of the experience.
Right.
Now, very sensitive subject when we're talking about the Holocaust. Is there an age group that should not attend? In other words, is this something perhaps not for the very young, or does that tell us what we should be aware of?
I would say it's probably not for the very young. I would think 4th or 5th grade is probably the cutoff. There aren't very many graphic images. There are a couple graphic images that include, one that includes corpses and one that includes a photo of a hanging. And so that might be a little too intense for younger children. There are also some graphic descriptions of people talking about what they experienced, which might be a little too much for younger children. It's difficult for everyone to listen to, but I would say 4th, 5th grade is probably that cutoff for where you can really process what's happening.
Yeah, that's a good point. The ensemble that's performing the klezmer music, Abyssal Klezmer.
Yes.
Tell us about the ensemble itself. These are some of your colleagues from around the country?
Yeah, so Abyssal Klezmer, which is Yiddish, the language spoken by Eastern European Jews, it just means a little klezmer music. And these are made up of people I met when I was in grad school at the University of Colorado. And now we're spread throughout the country. My wife and I are here, someone's in Colorado, a few of them are out in Oregon. So we used to play all the time when we were in Colorado, and now we kind of get together for these events. And so for me it's really exciting because I love playing with these people. We've been playing together enough that everyone really understands the music, and they're excited for it too. A couple of them are in grad school and they just finished finals, and so this is like their treat.
Absolutely. Now, this is on Saturday, March 25th, 7:30 p.m. at the Cooper Center here in McAllen at the Pecan campus. Let's get back to the topic itself again about the Holocaust and this very sensitive subject. People will experience something in many ways that they have not experienced because they're going to be having having klezmer music, the visual that goes with it, some testimonials I understand also that we'll be able to witness. Audience members leaving, what's the most important thing you would want an audience member to leave with?
I think the most important thing, more important than knowing the details of the Holocaust and specifically what happened, is to take to heart the experiences you hear and apply that to today. In many cases, these survivors are talking about when they were little kids. It didn't start with killing people because of their religion. It started with grouping people and saying, you're different. You don't get to participate with us because you're different. You have to, follow different rules because you're different. And when we look at the world around us today, we see some of that. We see us taking big groups of people and saying, because of your culture, because of your religion, because of the country you're from, we're going to treat you all this one way. And I think it's important to leave this and see the danger in that. That we need to look at people as individuals, and we need to embrace differences, because it's a slippery slope when you start, saying, well, this group of people deserves to be treated differently because they're all, and then some stereotype.
The us and them idea, us and them. And you make an excellent point because before reaching to the point of the actual Holocaust, as we know historically, it was small events, small things that were happening within groups, within communities, and it just continued to grow and can grow and grow. What I'm sure nobody, if you would be able to go back in a time machine and talk to somebody, well before it, they would say, well, it would never get that bad, and yet it was
Right.
horrific, but
Right.
eventually happened. And I think your point is well made also in the terms of it will really resonate with the environment that we are
Right.
witnessing in the world in general. There's a lot of divisiveness in a
Right.
sense that it's almost accepted in some circumstances, and I think this is something that will really resonate with our audience here today. Tell us a little bit, just for the sake of information, a little bit about your background and how you got into the study of klezmer music.
So I got into klezmer music. It's not something I was brought up with. In fact, like many people who were raised Jewish, I didn't really pay that much attention to my heritage. You went to synagogue on the weekends. You kind of went through the motions, but as a kid, you care more about hanging out with your friends and the soccer game you have and those things. It wasn't really until after my grandfather died. This is my mom's father. He was a singer, or at least on the weekends. He lived in Chicago, and he had gigs on the weekends, and a lot of times for Jewish weddings, bar mitzvahs, Jewish events. And after he died, I got a box of his music, and there were all these Yiddish tunes, these Jewish tunes in there. And I thought, I really don't know much about this. And he didn't necessarily perform klezmer music, but that sort of got me on that path. It's where I found klezmer music, and I thought, oh, this is remarkable. I have to know more about this. And so, right now I'm writing my dissertation on klezmer music. It's something I've become really passionate about, but it took me a while to get there. I was in graduate school by the time I really started to gain some interest in it, some real interest.
Did you also have to do some study in Yiddish to get familiar with Yiddish language?
Yes. Yeah. I'm not as good with my Yiddish as I used to be because I'm trying to learn Spanish.
Okay.
Now
Makes sense.
in McAllen. Yeah. But yeah, I had to learn some Yiddish. I try to keep it up when I can.
Excellent. All right. And soon you'll be doctor.
Hopefully.
That'd be very nice. Yeah. That'd be
Hopefully,
great. Yeah, excellent. Again, this is a very unique and very special event happening on Saturday, March 25th, 7:30 p.m. here at the Cooper Center on the Pecan campus in McAllen. Michael, this is really, really interesting, and we're really looking forward to a very powerful event that evening. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely.